Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in this little mini-series I'm doing, probably just for this month at the moment, we're looking at these road maps that I have of numerous countries around the world. We looked at Scandinavia and Finland, the Nordics, last week. And today we're going to look at Benelux. Now Benelux might be a new word to some of you. Maybe you don't know what that is. It's an amalgamation of three countries. It's Belgium for for Netherlands, and Lux for Luxembourg. So there are three countries that are really closely linked culturally, historically and geographically in the northwest of Europe. So this currently is the Netherlands. We can see the coastline here. This is the North Sea, or Noordzee in Dutch. And as my map falls off. And actually it's got in French as well for the French-Belgian speakers. Mer du Nord. And yeah, we can see that the border here between Belgium and the Netherlands. And then when we look further on, we'll see Luxembourg, which is over here somewhere. Okay, I really hope you enjoy the video. I'm going to talk a little bit about the different areas, and we're going to take a look. And there'll be some map tracing as well, and a little bit of me rambling, talking about my experience of visiting these places, and giving you some idea of where they are, and a little bit about culture and history where I can add it myself. But I'm no expert. I look forward to some of your comments, because I know that some of you, particularly the Dutchies, are very, very proud of your country. So give me some info, give me some history, some statistics in the comment section. I look forward to reading them. Dankjewel. Merci beaucoup. Dankeschön. Okay, so I started off by looking at Rotterdam, but Rotterdam is not the capital, but it is one of the largest cities, particularly in the Netherlands. It's part of the port as well, which is one of the busiest ports in Europe, maybe the world, definitely in Europe. Which here is the Hoek van Holland. I've been there because I took a boat to Harwich in England overnight. It was very fun. And yeah, the Hoek van Holland, the hoek is it does kind of mean hook, or like corner, edge of Holland, because this part up here is known as Holland, which is a name change. And I looked into it the other day to find out about this, because when I was growing up it was Holland, the whole country. And apparently it's only in the last like 10 to 20 years that the Dutch, what's it called? The Dutch themselves, the nation, have encouraged people to call them the Netherlands rather than Holland. And there's a historical reason for that. It's because this section here is the province of Holland. I think this is Southern Holland, so Zuid-Holland, and there's Noord-Holland, North Holland, but that's just like a small part of the country. And so there are lots of places like Eindhoven, which is another large city just over here, we'll have a look at it in a little bit, which doesn't come from Holland. So it's like calling the USA Texas. It's like the biggest bit and maybe arguably the richest bit, but it's not all of it, and it doesn't represent the whole country. I know that the Netherlands is quite small compared to the USA, but regardless, I come from Wales, which is even smaller, and we have massive disparities between north and south and east and west. So yeah, I think it's only fair that we don't call the entire country Holland, and that's where it started. And yeah, so this is literally Holland, but like that's not Holland. So let's have a little look, because it's very beautiful. We can see all these waterways here, and it shouldn't be forgotten that much more of the Netherlands was underwater, but they used dams to reclaim some of the land that was underwater for farming. Things that are very famous in the Netherlands are things like windmolen, so windmills, and also clogs. There's clogs, as in the wooden shoe, not clocks, which is what Switzerland is famous for. So clogs were like a traditional, I think, farming outfit. For some reason, I can't remember why. I don't know my history behind the whole clogs, but you can buy them as souvenirs in the Netherlands quite readily. And one other thing that the Netherlands is extremely famous for is tulips. I think tulip in Dutch is tulpe, and they're not native of the Netherlands. I think tulips come from like Eastern Europe or Central Asia even, but for some reason it just ended up that they were cultivated in massive amounts, and I think basically if you buy a tulip, it almost certainly comes from the Netherlands. They sell them to many countries around the world, and you'll see entire fields of tulips growing, ready to be sold. Lots of different colours, they're very, very pretty. And one other aspect is the canal system. There's so much water because it's below sea level, much of it, and there are no mountains, or if they are, they're very small. So, like I say, this is Rotterdam, which is linked to the sea and is considered, it says here, Europort. So Europort, it's one of the largest ports. And we've got all this waterway here. We got a place called Dordrecht, and another one Breda, which are quite large places, Roosendaal, Bergen op Zoom. And if you travel out to the islands, then you've got Middelburg, which is right stuck out there in the North Sea. And you've got these waterways. This one's called Oosterschelde, Westerschelde. So the Eastern Schelde and the Western Schelde. This was interesting, it's called Haring Fleet. Now haring is the word for herring, I believe, in Dutch. It's something to do with herrings. And Holland's deep. So it's talking about the fact that it's Holland. Then we've got Den Haag. The old name for it is Schavenhagen, and this is the sort of unofficial second capital, because unlike most capitals, the capital of course is Amsterdam, we'll come to that in a second, the actual, there are a lot of admin that usually takes place in the capital city, which actually takes place here in The Hague. That's the word for it in English, The Hague. And this place is a very beautiful resort on the beach, and you might think, crikey, how is it pronounced? If I'm saying it correctly, and I did ask locals for help with this word, I've been many times, this is called Scheveningen. Scheveningen, so it's very difficult to say, and it's a stunning seaside port with a big pier and loads of attractions on the pier, like a big wheel. And then on the beach itself, it's got lots of bars. It's wonderful, really, really nice. Sitting there having some lunch, some drinks, looking out in the summertime at the very pleasant North Sea. It's not so pleasant in the winter though, unfortunately. And then if we go north of there, we've got Leiden, Haarlem, which, yes, Harlem in New York is named after Haarlem because New York used to be called New Amsterdam, and therefore people, the Dutch that originally colonized New York before they sold it to the British. They had a section which was called Haarlem to represent the fact that Haarlem was outside of Amsterdam, so New Amsterdam had Haarlem as well. And Amsterdam is here, it's the capital city, as I say, but it doesn't have the Parliament building that's down here in The Hague. Okay, I just did the noisy bit of turning it over off camera. So this is the northern part of the Netherlands now. We've skipped a little bit. It's got these very beautiful islands which have almost no population. And they are on the northern part. And we can see that here is a large yellow line. This is the border. And this country here is, can you guess? Germany. So that's Germany. And this is the edge of the Netherlands. And think about this part of the Netherlands, they speak a different language. So everyone can still speak Dutch, but they also speak something called Fries, because this is Friesland. So Friesland, I think we say in English, and they speak the closest living language to English. So it's like very Dutch, but it's very similar to what people would have spoken when they originally came to England. So it's like an old English. It's very close still to English, and yeah, apparently, although Dutch is still quite similar to English, this language, Fries, is technically even closer. So linguists consider it the sister language of English. And I watched a video, as you do, on YouTube of someone speaking, I think it was Eddie Izzard actually. There's a video of him online speaking to a farmer trying to buy a cow, and the guy was only speaking to him in Fries, and he got by because Eddie Izzard can speak fluent German and French, and he understood enough of it to pretend in this particular scenario to buy the cow. He understood him like fairly well. But linguistically, if you had someone who spoke Old English, maybe who was able to read Chaucer, they'd have a very, very good understanding of Fries. And if I'm correct, which I might not be, Groningen is the largest city in this region, possibly is the capital. Leeuwarden is over here. We also have a couple of other places like Assen, Winschoten, Hoogezand, Sappemeer, a bit of a mouthful, and Drachten. Herenveen is also here, and Sneek, S-N-E-E-K, the double E in Dutch is A, snake, not sneak. And then if we go down a little bit to the south, we got places like Eemne, again just on the borderline. We've also got Hoogeveen, Meppel, this is Emmeloord, and then we come down to Zwolle, which is a city. Lelystad is just out of shot here as well on the coast. Okay, I'm going to turn over the page again to keep the noise down. So this is directly south of where we just were. We can see Almere is here. Still, we've got this borderline between the Netherlands and Germany running down. Now, I can't pronounce this one properly. I used to say it Enschede, but I think someone told me in a comments section once it's actually Enschede. So I think this place is pronounced Enschede. Hengelo is here. And we've got the Venter, Apeldoorn. And just in shot to Arnhem. And you can see the border. I'm just going to make sure I don't make a noise. Just to let you know where we are. So this is the border with Germany as it comes around this corner here. And you can see not far away in the distance is this massive population zone of Germany where we've got places like Dortmund, Essen, Düsseldorf and Cologne, just further down south. So that's just over the border of the Netherlands. And then before we go down to far south, we've got the edge here. Let me just down. It's going to drop off my desk isn't big enough. Oh, here we got Almere, not far from Amsterdam. So we're back over to where Amsterdam is now. This is just to the east of it. We've got a couple of places here, Amersfoort, and the very beautiful, one of the largest cities in the country is Utrecht, which I love. And then we go down south a little bit, shall we? So we're obviously on the eastern side of the country now. So Nijmegen is just here, right on the border, not far from Kleve in Germany. And then we got further down here, Sertogenbosch. Oh, I can't say this word. Sertogenbosch. And then we got the very large city of Eindhoven, one of the largest in the country. Is it the second city? Oh, I'm not sure what the second city is in the Netherlands. And then we get this little strange geographical borderline thing going on here, because this is the border with Belgium, which we'll be taking a look at in a second. But you can see this little corridor. So this down here is still the Netherlands. You can actually see it clearer on camera than I can see in the room. So this is the Netherlands, and sort of gets a little bit squeezed to this bit, but we still carry on. So we'll be looking down here at the Netherlands as well in just a moment. But this is the northeast part of Belgium, and we can see the fairly large city of larger Belgium at least. Genk is here, and Hasselt is here, and Diest is here. So this is still the Dutch speaking, or Flemish, as they call it. Their dialect of Dutch is Flemish, and yeah, that's spoken in this area. And down here in the Netherlands, we've just got a place called Heerlen and Valkenburg. As you get to this, thinner Sittard is also here. Oh, I forgot to say Roermond. Okay, I'm going to turn off the page. Okay, so to complete the picture, we've got the end of the Netherlands down here, in this little, so it goes thin, and then it gets bigger again. And we've got Maastricht here, but then Aachen is actually on the German side. So we had Heerlen and all these Sittard, Maastricht. There's the little part down here. And then we got the rest of Belgium. So here we got Liège. Liège is one of the French-speaking regions, or is in the French-speaking region. So the French-Dutch area is like there. Some quick facts about Belgium. I don't know as much about Belgium. I've only ever been to Brussels and Ypres. But in general, you can split the country into two halves. The top half speaks a form of Dutch called Flemish, and the lower half speaks a form of French, which is Belgian French, which is slightly different. For example, they have different words for, I think, 70 and 90. They have like an older form that's not used in standard French of France. I think it's like if I had to guess, 90 would be like 90 or something like that. Whereas, curiously, in France they actually say 80, 10, they say 80. Oh, actually it's 4 20s and 10. 90 for the number 90. So 90 actually, as a Spanish speaker, makes more sense to me. We've also got viviers, but you can also see that the other fact about this is that the population of the north, where they speak Flemish, is actually slightly greater than the population of the French speakers in the south. So there are slightly more living in the north of the country. We can see there's a lot more sparse down here. But we've still got this border with Germany going on. In fact, there's a place here I've just noticed called the Deutsch-Belgische Naturpark. So it's the German-Belgian Nature Park. Okay. So actually not many cities to talk about here. There's one called, I believe this will be pronounced in French, Uy. Quite tricky to say. And each of them have the name in the other language as well. You can see in brackets, like Liège, I think it's pronounced Leuk, and Uy is pronounced Hui in Dutch, Flemish. Okay, turn the page again. Okay, so for continuity, there's Liège, Verviers, and then we're going to go down a little bit to the south, because this is where little old Luxembourg comes into play. So Luxembourg is the last remaining duchy after the Second World War. Now, I'm not a historian, so correct me in the comment section on things that I say that I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. So Luxembourg is an extremely small country, but it's not, it's run by a duchy, so it's not a royal family as such. I'm not sure of the political nature. I assume that it's run by the duchy, but then there's, elected democratic elections for prime minister, etc. But I think the way that, we have a monarch in Great Britain, and like you do in Denmark and the Netherlands, then I think this is actually run by a duchy, so they're not a royal family, but I think the structure is fairly similar, but I might be completely wrong. But as you can see, there's only really one large city here, and it's actually just Luxembourg itself. Luxembourg's capital is called Luxembourg. But there is, I've just noticed Esch, which is down the south here. And Luxembourg is a bit of a melting pot of languages. There is such a language as Luxembourgish, which I believe is like an old version of German. So I think Luxembourgish is spoken, German is spoken, modern standard German, French, quite a lot of people speak French, and I'm assuming that, I don't know if Flemish or Dutch is spoken. In fact, I think it's Luxembourgish, French and German, but I know very little about Luxembourg, so please do write a comment about that. To clarify, this border now is a new one we haven't seen before. This is the border with France. So we've got Germany here and France down south. We can see Thionville here. So that's Luxembourg. You can see how small it is. But it's one of the richest countries in Europe, curiously. And there's some weird stat, like 60% of the country's population were not born in Luxembourg. I think there are a lot of people who go there for work, but you should check it out. It is a stunning country, lots of castles. And then this is the southeastern part of Belgium, but low population, like I said. We've got Arlon here, in Dutch, Arlen, but yeah, very sparsely populated compared to the rest. We're going to go west, okay? Okay, so this is where we were a second ago, now we've gone west. We can see the border rises up a little bit to accommodate France. And we've got this place called Dinan here. Namur is there. And the much larger city of Charleroi. Can tuck this in Okay, so that's southern tip again, not many cities or anything, but we've got quite a few. So this is still the French-speaking part, so we've got Morph, La Louvière, and then the cut-off between the two, I think, is this yellow line. You've got Waterloo, Waterloo. So this part now is the Dutch Flemish-speaking part, but Brussels is its own part, and it's a bilingual capital. I think people mostly use French there, even though it's in the Dutch-speaking part, but it is technically bilingual, and it therefore has two names, Bruxelles and Brussels. So there's Brussels for you, and just outside then you've got Leuven. Going back up to the Flemish-speaking area, you've got Mechelen, Leuven, Antwerpen. We call it Antwerp in English, Anvers in French. It's quite a large city. Saint-Nicolas, Aalst, and then the beautiful city of Ghent. Apparently in French is Gon. I've never heard that before. Ghent. And then we've got more cities over here. We've got Oudenaarde, Kortrijk, Gooselare, Ypres, which I've been to, which is Ypres. And that's where the last call is performed every night, I think, at 8 o'clock. And that's with the trumpet to celebrate those that lost their lives in this area during World War II and World War I to an extent as well. And there are lots of monuments to the dead there. I went on a history trip when I was a teacher in school as the linguist to help out if they needed someone to speak another language. And the city itself is quite beautiful, but there are lots of amazing, very humbling monuments there dedicated to the soldiers that lost their lives. And I personally find the last call extremely, how can I put it, emotional. It's, yeah, it makes me go into tears every time, in fact. And I'm not like hung up on the military or anything, but it's just very poignant, and it's a fitting dedication, and it's literally every night of the week. It's incredible. And then venturing out towards the coast here, we've got Veurne and Oostende. And then the extremely beautiful, I can't tell, maybe Belgian people will have an argument over this, which is prettier, Ghent or Bruges or Brugge. Prettier. I think they're both absolutely stunning, sort of medieval cities, still with a lot of stonework, castles, bridges. Brugge means bridge. And yeah, so absolutely beautiful cities. I haven't been to either yet, but I intend to go to both, and then I'll let you know which one I prefer. And then just to clarify, this is France again. And this is the large city of Lille, here just on the border, which is said that some people do speak a bit of Flemish there as well, because it's part of the older, larger area of Flemish speaking. Historically, this area was part of Belgium rather than France, I believe. There we are then. So that is your little map on Benelux. Now you know what Benelux is. It is Belgium, Netherlands and Luxembourg. Correct me in the comments if I said anything incorrect. I'd like to know, and everyone else would too. Give this video a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, join me on Patreon, the info is in the box below, and let me know what other places you want me to do with the road maps in the future. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Take care.